It was supposed to be the Unsinkable, a marvel of engineering and luxury. But on April 15, 1912, the RMS Titanic met a tragic fate that shook the world. A single iceberg, a series of mistakes, and over 1,500 lives lost. But what if I told you the Titanic was doomed before it even left the dock? What really happened that night? Were there warning signs that could have saved everyone? And what mysteries did we uncover decades later, hidden in its watery grave? Let's step back in time and explore the unsettling facts that show the Titanic's fate was sealed long before it sank. Let's start at the beginning. The Titanic wasn't just a ship. It was a symbol of human achievement. Built to be the largest, most luxurious ocean liner ever, it was unsinkable, or so they thought. But what if the idea of unsinkable was nothing more than a dangerous illusion? The truth is, behind the glittering exterior and grand promises, there were cracks waiting to show themselves. Could it be that the Titanic's unsinkability was just a marketing ploy? Now get this, the Titanic is cruising across the icy waters of the North Atlantic and it's getting warnings, 6 to be exact, that icebergs are nearby. 6 warnings. But what does the crew do? They blow it off. In fact, one of the radio operators even shouted, "Shut up, I am busy." Can you believe that? It's like ignoring a storm cloud when the sky is clearly turning dark. Could a pair of binoculars have changed the course of history? The ship's lookout, Frederick Fleet, didn't have binoculars to help him spot the iceberg in time. Why? Because the crew member with the key to the binocular locker never showed up for work that day. The Titanic's fate wasn't just sealed by icebergs, but by something as simple as a missing key. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote The Wreck of the Titan, a novel eerily similar to the real-life Titanic disaster. The plot follows a massive, supposedly unsinkable ship named Titan, which strikes an iceberg and sinks in the North Atlantic. Here's the catch. This book was published 14 years before the Titanic ever set sail. The uncanny parallels from the size of the ship to the lack of lifeboats are so chilling that it feels like the novel predicted the disaster. Here's another gut-wrenching detail. The Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats for everyone on board. But here's the kicker. Many of the lifeboats that were available left the ship empty. Think about that. You're sitting there watching the lifeboats pull away, and you realize there's no room for you. So what went wrong? Was it panic, miscommunication, or just pure disbelief? Now let's talk about the chilling waters. The temperature that night was a bone-chilling 28 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold enough to freeze a person in minutes. So imagine this. You're in the water, and the icy grip of death starts to set in. You can't move, you can't breathe, and within moments your body begins to shut down. And for those who made it to the lifeboats, it was still a race against time. For something even more baffling, the Titanic was sailing at full speed, even after receiving iceberg warnings. But why keep going? Was the Titanic's crew that overconfident in their ship's power? Or did they think they could just outrun disaster? It's almost like they were daring fate. But as we all know, fate has a way of catching up with us. Some experts believe there was a fire burning in the coal bunker, weakening the Titanic's hull before it even struck the iceberg. A fire that had been smoldering for days. Could a hidden fire in the belly of the beast have made the ship more vulnerable? Was the Titanic already doomed from within? It's chilling to think that the disaster may have been set in motion long before the iceberg even made contact. Now comes the heart-wrenching part. As the Titanic sank, the band kept playing. They didn't stop. For over 2 hours, they played to calm the terrified passengers. Was it bravery, or was it a final act of defiance against the inevitable? Did they hope somehow the disaster would stop? Or were they simply trying to give the passengers a final moment of peace in the chaos? And here's where things get really crazy. Some conspiracy theorists believe the Titanic's sinking wasn't an accident at all. They say it was planned by a powerful group of financiers who needed to get rid of some inconvenient people aboard. Sounds crazy, right? But then again, when you start to unravel all the strange coincidences, it might not seem so far-fetched after all. And that's about it. The Titanic story didn't end until 1985, when its wreck was finally discovered, 73 years after it sank. Today, the remains are slowly disappearing, eaten away by bacteria. It's almost poetic, a ship that tried to conquer the sea, now being reclaimed by it. Could things have gone differently? Were the warnings ignored, or was it all inevitable? It makes you wonder. Share this story, and let's never forget the lessons we can learn from the Titanic's chilling truth.